Mr. Burt Mustin is with us again tonight. Burt Mustin is kind of our resident nonogenarian, which means he is octogenarian is 80, nonogenarian, you know, is 90 years old. Still active in his career. He's been on the Tonight Show 3 or 4 times. Just completed a movie for Disney called The Strongest Man in the World, and is currently, believe it or not, at his age, working on a comedy series for 1975 called Love Nest. He's only appeared in something like 300 television shows, and I don't know how many movies. Would you welcome Mr. Burt Mustin? Nice to see you again.
Oh, nice to be back again, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, you killed him last time when you were here. You did a number from 1900 and something that you'd remembered, that one of the first numbers you ever sang, and he got up and sang in front of this audience and fractured him.
Well, I brought an even older one than that to inflict upon them this year.
You have an older number to do tonight?
This time.
Yeah. What year did you first come out here to Hollywood?
My first visit to Hollywood was in 1925. I came out from Pittsburgh with the Pittsburgh Lions Quartet to compete in the quartet contest. Oh, Pittsburgh. Compete in the quartet contest in San Francisco. Then, of course, we had to come down here to see Hollywood.
Right.
And we were met by the Lions clubs. It had a very enjoyable time here. And, of course, we had to see something of the movie people. And in those days, there were no studio tours at all, you know. So the best you could hope for was to go out to Beverly Hills, where all the big stars lived, and take one of the tours that they had there in these Fifth Avenue type buses, you know, with everybody sitting up on the top seat there, and they had the guy with the megaphone to give you all the celebrities. So I, of course, went along on one of those, and this man was telling all about the wonderful things in Hollywood. He said, "Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching on our left the famous Barrymore mansion." And the little 17-year-old girl in the front row said, "You mean Jack Barrymore?" He said, "No, madam, I don't. I mean Lionel Barrymore, his brother." I see. "And now, ladies and gentlemen, on the right, we are coming to the famous Pickford residence." "You mean Mary Pickford?" She said, "No, madam, I don't. I mean Jack Pickford, her brother." A little while later, and now we're coming to the famous Fairbanks mansion. "You mean Douglas Fairbanks?" She said, "No, madam, I don't. I mean Douglas Fairbanks Jr., his son." Well, by that time, she was just about crushed, and he was pretty exasperated with her. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our newest and finest edifice in Beverly Hills. This is the Christ Methodist Episcopal Church." And he glared down at the little gal, and she never said a word, but a drunk in the back of the bus said, "Go ahead and ask him, lady. You can't be wrong all the time."
That's funny. You know what I was saying? Your first, in 1925, you were in your 40s in 1925.
Yes.
No, but you hadn't even considered an acting career. You told me once on the show that you didn't actually start as a professional actor until your 60s or your early 70s.
I was 67 when I turned pro. I'd hammed it all my life in Pittsburgh and Tucson and done everything in the way of it. But I never had the slightest aspiration to go on the stage, because even if you were reasonably successful, the best you could hope for was a run in New York and then living in hotels all over the United States. Well, I had a little home-loving wife that wouldn't have suited at all. And we decided that before we were married. She said, "If you want to have that kind of a life, you better get yourself another girl." So I wanted the girl rather than the life. And I never gave it any thought until I had a chance to come out here to Hollywood, where I could be home and still have the little cottage and the green thumb that she loved and adored.
So what was the first thing you did in show professionally out here? Was it a motion picture or television?
Yes, detective story. I went over from Tucson to play the play in Sombrero Theater, and Willie Wilder came over to see Kirk Douglas in action. He liked what I did well enough to give me the role in the picture, and I've been here ever since.
Do they ever ask you to play a part older than you are?
Yes, I play parts anywhere from 60 to 105. I'm getting a smile from this lady because I remember one time with her, I played the superannuated butler for Reginald Owens. And after welcoming her and her husband, Jim Garner, at the door, I was just barely able to make the dining room, staggering down in front of them. But now the way I would transform myself from what I am normally into that would be to kind of screw up my face a little bit. I get a high voice and you can age in a hurry, I'm telling you now.
Kills me, a 90-year-old man trying to do an old man. Huh?
Well,
and you got to work to play it.
yeah. Mr. Lear had a lot of fun with the audience when I did that role in All in the Family as the old guy in the blue pajamas that I imagine most of the folks here saw.
Right.
And when he introduced me to the audience, he said, you know, when I called Burt in to do this job, I explained to him that I wanted him to play the part of an 83-year-old man. So I suggested that he go out and sit in MacArthur Park and watch how old people behave themselves.
Yeah, you'd have to do it also. You don't, when you look at yourself in the mirror, are you conscious of that most people would get depressed, you know, because they're getting along in life. But 90 years old, I get the feeling you don't think that at all, or feel that way.
Well, when you get used to it, it comes on you so gradually. But
90 just kind of creeps up on you, huh?
90 just creeps up on you. And I try to kid myself that my talking voice and my singing voice is still a masterful, virile voice. And then I hear myself on the playback, and I know the old guy's wobble.
Quit playing that old man, Burt. It'll never work.
Then when I go back to Pittsburgh and see all the old fellas that I was brought up with and see how much they've aged, I know something has happened.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break, then we'll come back and you'll do this song that's even older than the one...
Even older than that one, yes.
All right, we'll be right back after this brief pause. Burt hasn't told me the name of the song or what year this comes from, but I think there's a little background to it. Burt, you want to tell him about it?
Yeah, this song I'm going to sing is a real genuine oldie. It's the oldest song I ever knew. And as a 10-year-old boy at Chautauqua Lake in New York, they attended a homegrown musical show there, a minstrel show, and a man came out with a banjo and accompanied himself with this song, and I liked it so much that I went back for the second show. It goes all the way, it was, bear in mind, that's 80 years ago, and the song was old then. It goes all back to the days of the wood fire, the kerosene lamp, and the electric lamp, and the electric light in its infancy. So that's the story. Jim Brown has just been married. He got a lovely spouse. She said she'd do the cooking when they were keeping house. She cooked a lovely supper of vegetables and meat. He tried it, then he told her it wasn't fit to eat. Girl wanted, girl wanted. Next day the sign appeared upon the door. Girl wanted, and wifey isn't cooking anymore. She said it was like mother used to make it. He told her if it was, she'd have to shake it. So at the break of day, those that chanced to pass that way saw the sign, girl wanted. The first girl was a pretty girl of handsome form and face. Brown liked her looks, and so of course the girl secured the place. But wifey, she was jealous. She thought something amiss. She watched and saw her husband give that pretty girl a kiss. Girl wanted, girl wanted. Next day the sign appeared upon the door. Girl wanted, that pretty girl ain't working anymore. You ought to seen that pretty girl skedaddle. Brown got a bloody nose in the battle. So at the break of day, those that chanced to pass that way saw the sign, girl wanted. The next girl was a country girl. Her face would give one frights. She lost her breath in trying to blow out the electric lights. One day she tried to light the fire. The wood was somewhat green. When just to see if it would help, she poured on kerosene. Oh, girl wanted, girl wanted. Next day the sign appeared upon the door. Girl wanted, that country girl ain't working anymore. And now she's working up a little higher. No more she has to monkey with a fire. So at the break of day, those that chanced to pass that way saw the sign, Girl Wanted. Burt Mustin.
I tell you something, if we're ever at a benefit where there's one of those charity things, there are a lot of performers, I don't want to follow you, ever. Ever, because
I don't want to follow you.
you're a tough act. Sure.
I want to follow you. Oh, I want to follow you.
And might do it, certainly.
Follow you.
I thank you all, really. Doris, I know you don't do these shows very often, and it's great to have you here, and I'm glad to hear you're going to go back to singing again, and I hope when you want to come on, you'll sing for us, huh? When you know. Okay? And Rodney, love and health are the main things in life, as you know.
Take care of your health, Johnny. I'm telling you.
Care of your health. And, Burt, thank you. Just having all of you here tonight made this so much easier for me to come back. Thank you.